Calandrello? Trustee Healy?
Here.
Trustee Milani?
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Bill Healy as our interim committee chair for tonight,
For finance?
for finance.
Second?
All in
All in
favor?
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of minutes?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Milani?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Finance Committee of August 19th, 2019.
All in favor?
You got a second.
Oh, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Technology, Innovation, and Performance Improvement Committee? Approval of minutes?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Healy?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Technology, Innovation, and Performance Improvement Committee of August 19th, 2019.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Professional Services Agreement to implement Microsoft products?
David, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, the purpose of me submitting this item to you this evening is to seek your recommendation to the board to waive the bidding process and approve the procurement of professional and engineering services to install and configure Microsoft software from SWC Technology Partners for the not-to-exceed cost of $75,070 plus a 5% contingency. BIS staff developed a statement of work and solicited quotes from 4 reputable Microsoft vendors. SWC submitted the quote with the lowest cost for all 3 items that we'll speak about this evening. The village and I have both worked with SWC in the past, and they've completed their work in a very exemplary fashion. So why are we doing this SCCM and so forth? So there's those 3 main buckets that we're proposing get done through these professional services. And I'm open to answer any questions you may have regarding those.
David, is this, I got a couple questions. First of all, is this something that these updates, and are they usually done year to year and we've just put them off because we didn't have to do them? Or is it something that by good form we would do every year?
Trustee Healy. Well, it's a combination of both. Microsoft has changed their changed their whole licensing format to more of a subscription-based format. All software vendors are kind of moving to that direction, and so the advantage of that is that it keeps your systems updated on a more regular basis. The disadvantage of it is that now you've got to budget more money on an annual basis to pay for it, and it's usually more. So in our circumstance, I think for cost reasons, the Windows Exchange upgrade and some of these other upgrades were deferred in favor of pursuing other objectives. So yes, they probably should have been done in a more timely fashion, but they weren't. And this is where we're at right now. Moving ahead, we will do a good job of planning to make sure we plan these implementations and so forth. Fortunately, with the Microsoft software that we bought last month through the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement, it allows us an extension of time to keep our systems upgraded. So not from the deadlines in January, unfortunately, but moving ahead. If you're just a regular customer, you've got to update your operating systems every 18 months. Well, we get 30. So with the enterprise agreement through Microsoft, so that will give us more time to prepare for these.
Okay. My other question is, who was second? Or I didn't give us the ranges of the way, but who was just the difference between first and second?
Okay. We solicited. I put together a statement of work and issued it to actually 4 reputable vendors. Second place was probably Sentinel Technologies, who's another company that we've worked with. Their strength primarily is Cisco, but they do have Windows staff to take care of these things. I took a look at their hours and the rate per hour. They estimated quite a few more hours than SWC. SWC submitted a total of about 402 hours. Sentinel Technologies submitted a total of 620 hours. Their hourly rate was lower by about $20 per hour, but they submitted more hours.
Okay.
That's all I have. Yep. I guess a couple questions and comments to, since this is a professional services contract, and this might be for Tom, do we have to waive the bid process on this, or do we just submit it as is on the legislative text?
You can submit it as is.
Okay. And now, my comment, I'm glad that you went out to 4 different people, found the lowest bid, and got that taken care of, which is great. My question is always, we have money for this in the budget, and we're not taking away from another project.
These items were not budgeted for. Obviously, they need to be done on a urgent basis because of some deadlines that are pending in January. And so we will be taking funds from online services and hardware purchases in order to pay for this.
Okay. And I guess, as you mentioned, this seems like, kind of like we kicked the can down the road to save us some money in the past, and now here we are where we're possibly spending more money than we saved.
Correct.
Okay. That's all the questions I had. I'll entertain a motion. If anybody, any other comments?
No other comments here.
Okay. I'll entertain the motion.
So I'm going to read the motion, right?
Yes.
I move to, let's see. I move to recommend to the board to approve the procurement of professional and engineering services from SWC Technology Partners for the not to exceed amount of $75,070 plus a 5% contingency.
Now, we don't need to waive the bid process, is what you just asked, so.
Right.
I think we're good.
So, and I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Development Services, Planning and Engineering Committee, approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Malani?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Development Services, Planning and Engineering Committee of August 19th, 2019.
All in favor?
Second.
Oh, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adoption of the 2018 International Mechanical Code.
Mr. Chairman, the Village of Orland Park presently uses the 2015 IMC International Mechanical Code with local amendments. I'm here to present to the Development Services Committee for adoption of the 2018 International Mechanical Code. The village does have some revisions to the 2018 code that we will present to the committee at a later date once we reviewed all local amendments for clarity. Staff and I are reviewing and preparing the language for the local amendments for coordination with our Title V, Chapter 6 Mechanical Code. The ICC International Mechanical Code is a nationally known code, and this adoption will keep the village up to present code adoptions.
Any questions?
No questions, but I did notice on the last page in Chapter 8, chimneys is spelled improperly. No. Chimneys.
Okay.
Chimneys and vents.
Okay.
Okay.
Very
That's
difficult word to spell.
that's my biggest concern.
Okay. We'll make sure we'll get that squared away immediately. Thank you.
No.
It got by me, I'll tell you. So thank you, Mike, for helping push this through. So any other comments?
No. This one's pretty straightforward. So.
Well, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend to the Village Board to approve the local revisions of Title V, Chapter 6 of the Village Code and to implement the latest edition of the 2018 International Mechanical Code, IMC, first printing May 2017, as written by the International Code Council, ICC.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adoption of 2018 International Property Maintenance Code.
Mr. Chairman, the Village of Orland Park presently uses the 2015 IPMC, International Property Maintenance Code, with local amendments. I'm here to present to the Development Services Committee for adoption of the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code. The village does have revisions to the 2018 code that we will present to the committee at a later date once we receive the local amendments for clarity. Staff and I are reviewing and preparing language for local amendments for coordination with our Title V, Chapter 7 Property Maintenance Code. The ICC International Property Maintenance Code is a nationally known code, and its adoption will keep the village up to present code adoptions. We also are working very close with the police department on this particular code because a lot of it has us with this task force that we are involved in with Deputy Chief Mitchell is all about property maintenance, which is the 70th court area. So I think Trustee Healy, you've been part of that task force meeting, so we're going to go and take a look at this code and present it to them and get their input also. Kind of like make sure that everybody is briefed and educated on what code amendments we're going to do locally. So at the present moment, the village will be of 8 codes. We will be presently under 6 that would be present code adoptions. And we only have the IFC and we have the International Energy Code that we have to review yet. Everything else is up to current staffing and date.
Oh, that's great. Any comments?
No, this looks good. Is this one that we reviewed a while back as well, or is this the first?
This is the first one. The last one that we did was 2015. We had some local amendments.
Okay.
I don't think with the present committee that we have now, we had anything that we presented in front of the, for the property maintenance code.
Okay.
So this is all going to be new code language that we're going to have in there. With we just have to make sure it coordinates very well with the Title 8, or I should say, yeah, Title 8 Police Code. That's our biggest concern, making sure that it matches.
Right. And yeah, as you know, having a new village code is great as well, and I hope that we continue to work with you on actually enforcing.
Yes.
As well. So.
I do want to say that the word chimney is not in this one, so we're okay on that.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Milano.
I move to recommend to the village board to approve the local revisions of Title V, Chapter 7 of the Village Code and to implement the latest edition of the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code, IPMC, first printing May 2017, as written by the International Code Council, ICC.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Do you want to make an announcement to people here in regular meetings?
Before I make a motion to adjourn, I just want to make a mention that the regular meeting of the complete Board of Trustees is at 7 o'clock, so in 45 minutes. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nice job.
Okay, thanks.